Well, we saw what the biopolar generator did at the Gaucher Animal Clinic, but what about in a home, and especially if there are some serious circumstances that you need to deal with? Well, today on this part of the show, we're actually talking to Olivia and Chris Novak. And thanks for sharing your story with us. I mean, we've sat here and talked about it before we started taping. And if you would, Olivia, tell us again what you've been dealing with for the past couple of years.
Just a complex illness, and we ended up in November of 2013, found out I had Lyme disease, and that my youngest daughter Clara was also infected. As a result of the Lyme disease, we developed a biotoxin illness because of our genetic makeup. We didn't realize at first with the Lyme literate physician that I saw why I was getting sicker. And we saw a physician in Seattle, Washington, Dr. Marty Ross, and he was the one that was able to put the whole picture together of why we were not successfully going through the treatment protocol. And it is because of our genetics. The genetics were basically a disaster for the detox as far as treatment. We have MTHFR, COMT, and HLA, as well as a mold detox problem. Our liver and our kidneys do not function the same as everybody else's who do not have genetic problems.
Right.
So we went through a remediation in Lafayette because our home had a little bit of mold in it, and it did make a difference. I got so sick that I was not able to live on my own, and we moved in with my parents in December. And from there, my doctor was able to get my body from completely just non-functioning. Within 4 months, I was able to walk again, cook a meal, and my mom's home was free of toxins as well. Non-organic chemicals is what our body is comfortable with. Anything that's non-organic is basically us ingesting it, and then we can't get it out of our bodies. So we decided in July, we prayed about it and found a home, this home, that we really loved. I mean, the grounds were gorgeous, the home needed some work, but we really loved the home. When we came for the first time for the realtor to show us the home, they opened the front door and the non-organic chemicals hit me, fragrances, I'll say. They put a mask on me, and I was put back in the wheelchair. We went one tour through the house, and I knew this was it. This was the house. But we really thought, we saw things that were plugged in. Once they're unplugged, surely the problem would be gone.
Sure.
So we made an offer, they accepted, and we tried to bring me back into the home. And I noticed that the few times we did come here, I was during an IV, I would just keep getting weaker and weaker. We thought maybe the IV, and I kept telling Chris, I really still smell that smell. So went back to my mom's, and our family came and ripped up the carpet because we thought the carpet has absorbed.
Carpet,
yes.
Yeah.
So they ripped up the carpet, brought me back to the home. It's still very sick. So they thought, well, we'll seal the walls. I even called my doctor and said, have you ever come across this problem? Do you have any suggestions? And he's like, no, but let me know what you find, really interested. So we ripped up the carpets. Chris started to seal the walls with a no VOC, no contaminant paint to see if that would work. We came back into the house, and I would notice that when the air conditioning system would cut on, the smell was more prevalent.
So it was in the ducts.
It was in the air duct. So I told Chris, check the air return vents. Just see if there's anything in there. Well, when Chris opened it up, he found a bag of potpourri hanging in the air return vents. And then another one had a big packet of the non-organic fragrance. So we thought once we remove this, we'll be able to move back into the house. We removed them. Chris changed the filters. We moved back into the house. And I, from there, got extremely ill. Back into my walker, body tics, seizures almost every day. My daughter was very, very sick. So we started to really think about we need to have the ducts clean. And we ran into a friend of ours at a birthday party, gave Chris, Foster's Heating and Air, try this company. Chris called and said, can y'all come out and talk to us? And they did, and they were able to answer questions before Chris could even ask them about what our expectations are, what do you use, and come to find out the ductwork was from 1979. So it really needed
No
to
telling
be
what kind of stuff was still up in
right.
there.
So it really needed to go through a complete renovation. So Chris was holding his breath constantly. Is this going to work? Is this going to get us our home? They come and do the complete renovation. And we walk into the house for the first time. I will never forget it. And I went straight to my bed, and I was lying down, and there's a vent in my room that blows straight into my face, and it smelled like complete fresh air.
I bet that was an emotional moment.
It was, that I was finally back in my home. It really was a good feeling. So without the renovations that Foster's did, we would not be in our home today. There's no way. It was that bad.
That's amazing. Well, I'm going to talk to your husband here just and find out more about things that you had to deal with and how Foster's helped y'all out.
Okay.
Well, Chris, as a physician, I'm sure all this was very frustrating for you.
This was very frustrating, especially knowing that your wife is ill. And initially, we could not figure out why she was ill. And then obviously trying to move to the coast here for family support, to get support for her, to help take care of her as well. And as we moved into this house, we're thinking, well, this is a new start. And it was a nightmare. It was a disaster. And like I said, thanks to the help of Foster's, we were able to really move into the house. I mean, it got to the point where when we first moved into the house, I mean, the first probably week, she was getting more ill, and with her illness, like she said before, with the biotoxin illness and the Lyme disease, we actually had to move her into a tent.
I was going to say, I mean, first you actually she had to stay outside in a pup tent.
Absolutely. I set up a little air conditioner for her outside, so she wouldn't get too hot, and it was quite comfortable out there. But
camping going on, that's not bad.
But unfortunately, it's not the way you're supposed to live.
Right.
And finally, we just said, well, we got to move out again. And that's when we started making more changes. Like she said before, we ripped the carpet out, we painted everything, and it just wasn't doing it. And from that point on, that's when we contacted Foster's, and it was within a matter of hours after they finished. I came to check on the house, and I could smell a difference. I personally don't have the biotoxin illness,
right,
but I could personally sense a difference. The smell was almost immediate. I mean, I came in literally 3-4 hours afterwards, and I called Olivia. It's like, look, this is amazing.
Well, I noticed when I walked in the house that it has such a, you walk in homes that have, it's clean and all this, and you can tell that they've cleaned it with something, or air fresh and all this, but it's a different type of clean when you walked in here. I mean, it's almost like, I want to say mountain air fresh, something like that, because the way, you don't smell any, you don't smell dust, dander, or anything.
It was quite amazing. I mean, this is a complete turnaround. It allowed us to give our lives back, from having to rely on other people to live with. Now we can live on our own, and that's the way we're supposed to live. And now she can have her own peace, and she can enjoy the environment outside and things like that. It's just unfortunate, a lot of people are suffering with this, and a lot of people don't realize they have illnesses like she has.
Right. And
even just her biotoxin illness, I mean, 20% of the population has this, and they just don't know about it. And maybe it's just a subtle headache with a certain smell, mold. We live in the South. Mold is everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Especially, after going through Katrina, a lot of these houses went underwater, and it's hard to get rid of mold. And I mean, you really have to eradicate things in the house. And with systems like this, the REMI system, and obviously just changing the entire duct system out was amazing. And it really worked for us. And
that's awesome.
This is a blessing, and they were a blessing.
Well, there's something that they can find, I'm sure, definitely for any home, any business as before. So thank y'all so much for sharing your story with us. That's absolutely amazing, and glad you're doing better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a great story, Nancy.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's amazing, and to know that something, I don't want to say as simple as changing your air system or whatever, can really help out. I mean, it's not always simple. And they said, and one of the things that Olivia mentioned was when they called you, it's like you already knew all the answers
It was
for all the questions.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing when, she called and said, I have this issue and we want to look at duct cleaning. And I already knew that's not going to solve your issue. And I knew that we had the new technology and that this was going to work for her within 10 minutes of talking to her. And we were just so blessed and happy that we were able to help this family. It's just a wonderful thing.
Now, Chris mentioned that it was the Remy system.
Correct.
And is that the one I called the Star Wars system?
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
That's
So that's
what
what we
thought.
installed in this home, and that's what has solved her issues with her health
That's
and her
something.
daughter.
Yeah, and it's something down south, we think about, we have pollen and this and that, but as Chris mentioned, and both of them did, there's so many people that suffer from issues
That's correct.
that may not know. And if this segment can help them realize,
Exactly. Have
maybe
that
it's
aha
this.
moment,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might be putting up these potpourri things and all this, thinking, okay, it's going to help mask the odor.
No.
You're probably just compounding the situation.
Right. You're hurting yourself even more if you have those issues, if you have asthma or any kind of susceptible things to indoor air quality. And that's why we're really, really pushing this indoor air quality information so that everyone has it, because it's so important.
Now, if someone wants to get an evaluation of their home, is that something that Foster's will do for free?
Yes, yes. We do a free evaluation. We'll do a little indoor air quality quiz with you and see where you're at and see what your needs are and what technology is best for you.
And a lot of it has to do with lifestyle.
Correct.
In and out of the house. You've got, as we mentioned when we were at the doctor's clinic, having pets in your home.
Correct.
Pet dander, simple as that.
Right.
And then some people say, well, I got pets, that's probably causing it. May not.
It may not be. It may be something as simple as, your
Your ducts,
filtration or your
exactly.
duct work or something that's more simple than you think it is.
Well, things, as I said, are a lot different than they were back in the 70s.
Absolutely.
When all the air was a lot cleaner.
Well, and when your mom told you to open the windows and let the fresh air in, she was doing the right
She
thing.
knew what she was talking about. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so
you.
much for
We
your time.
appreciate y'all.
Hey, we appreciate you. And again, if you'd like an evaluation of your home, your business, or whatever, they'll be glad to come and visit with you. Give them a phone call, make an appointment with them. They're located in Goshen. They'll go anywhere. Foster's.